sorry, that wasn't on. Welcome, creatures of all ages. This is Osimus Tarkus, and today we are playing as Iberia, specifically the Editani tribe. The Editani tribe are specifically located in the region of Valencia in modern-day Spain, and I am so excited. This has been one of the most interesting and mysterious cultures in the ancient world. Hold on. So, as you can see, I am dressed in my battle armor, but not really, because hold on a sec. Because the Ketrati, the basic foot soldiers of the Iberian armies, made who were known by their shields called I forgot what they're called. I think Kytra or something. That's where they get their name from. These like small round shields. They generally did not wear armor because they wanted to prioritize mobility over protection. So I know some of you are going to complain like, oh, armor doesn't and hinder mobility. That's just something that people make up so they can dress their anime heroines in chainmail bikinis. Well, guess what? Yes, armor doesn't hinder people in the very short run. Soldiers can, soldiers, if conditioned right, can do jumping jacks, cartwheels, and run short distances in plate armor. But the thing is, the issue with armor isn't actually, or at least metal armor, isn't the short run. No, you can also run around in armor fairly easily. I mean, modern soldiers and firefighters are able to run pretty fast with pretty large amounts of equipment. The issue is marching. Armor is not heavy and it's not hindering, but it's uncomfortable. And marching long distances in heavy heat, especially if you're not on a horse, can be really annoying. You definitely can't sleep in it. And the Iberians were masters of guerrilla warfare. What the Iberians would do is they would run up to their enemies, they would throw their javelins, they would shout, and then they would run back into the wilderness. So, yeah, in this case of guerrilla warfare rather than like aggressive formation warfare like the legionaries did, yes, armor would be somewhat hindering. Not that much, but I can see why people who were expected to buy their own weapons and like were and probably would prefer to do without it. But anyways, like I said, not much is known about the ancient Iberians, largely because we cannot actually translate their language. I actually have this one friend who doesn't really like medieval and the ancient world falls flat for him, and as it does for a lot of like gun nuts. And he actually did believe that everyone outside the central and South Mediterranean were just running around in naught but their underpants. That's definitely not true. Certainly not true for the Germans and Gauls. The only reason we think that way is because they didn't really have a formal writing system, or at least the Gauls didn't. The Druids had a strong oral tradition, but after the Druids were suppressed by the Romans, a lot of their history was lost. But for the Iberians, it's not even that. The Iberians did have a writing system, and it was actually fairly similar to the Punic, meaning Phoenician alphabet. The problem is we can't translate it because it is a pre-Indo-European language. Pre-Indo-European meaning coming from the southern part of Iberia, as well as Sicily, they had a language system that's different from the others because the other cultures, meaning Greek, Roman, German, and Gaulish, all have languages descended from a culture called, sometimes known as the Kyrgyz culture, that moved in from the steppes of like Uzbekistan, who also moved in, who also may have moved into India as part of the Aryan invasion, although of course my Hindu nationalist grandmother will vehemently deny it and will claim that all these Indo-Europeans, including the Romans, Greeks, originated from people moving out of India, meaning Indians are the ancestors of Western civilization. Take with that if you will. I know another one of my friends has called it the Indian equivalent of Afrocentrism. But where was I? Yeah, the Editani tribe did not have Indo-European language, and because of that, we can't translate it. We can vaguely understand the syllables, like what the syllables in the letters said. However, the vocabulary we don't know much about. So unfortunately, a lot of their history is lost to us. Otherwise, welcome to the stream, Marco, Raimundo, and JPZ. But yeah, what we do know about the ancient Iberians is, first of all, there were tens of thousands of peoples organized under individual kings. They had an advanced form of iron metallurgy, and elite status was probably displayed by goods obtained from Punic traders. For a large part of their classical history, they were in contact with both the Greeks and the Punics. And because of that, the people who could afford it flaunted their wealth through things like silk and dyes and golden jewels and spices. That was basically a sign of elite status. And they definitely had an economically stratified society, and inequality is definitely a sign of an advanced society. So Howard Zinn, with his concept of like the noble savage untouched by capitalism, he isn't that wrong about it. Wrong about many other things, but that at least he's correct in that primitive societies were very equal, and as they became more advanced in terms of technology and culture, they very much did get more unequal. But yeah, the elites were philanthropists who regularly shared their luxury goods with the peasants, such as through feasts. And in return, the peasants tributed agricultural surpluses. And the rulers would trade it with foreign merchants for said luxury goods. The aristocrats in this case were not just landowners, they were also warriors. These were the warrior elite who could afford heavy armor and iron weapons, and they displayed their wealth on the battlefield. And one of the first things I like to look at when assessing ancient cultures is the way women were treated, and it can range from absolutely abysmal, like in ancient Arabia or ancient Greece, to pretty well, like in Kush. Iberians, I think, were somewhere in between, in that, just like in many cultures, the symbol of femininity was weaving and spinning, textile manufacturing per se. But in this case, it wasn't just a marital duty that was just laughed off as something that was need to be taken for granted, like in Greece and Rome. Women were praised and honored based on how well they could weave and spin. Otherwise, kind of like in the Etruscan civilization, they regularly took part in celebrations and rituals, and in art, they're often depicted as playing instruments. This is something that was generally unheard of in ancient Roman culture, where Roman and Greek culture, where women generally were kept out of social life. So, yeah, we are playing as Iberia right now, and let's get started. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me turn off the background music. Background music. Hold on, is it working? Alright, it's working. Alright, let's go. So, I have a new system of random political events. The last ones were kind of arbitrary and didn't really have much to do with a compelling story. So what we're doing instead is using a random event coming from Advanced D&D Oriental Adventures. Now, naturally, if a kingdom is in as much turmoil as a fantasy kingdom in a D&D like setting, then naturally it's not going to be very good at building an empire. So I'm going to be a little more lenient, but this table includes things where I have a chance to assassinate one of my own party members. I have a chance to demolish my own factions due to natural disasters. And yeah, it gets... And then other times when I have to arbitrarily declare war. And yeah, it can get pretty crazy. So, this year, there's going to be one for every year and one for every turn. This year, the thing I got was a fire. However, I don't actually have anything that a fire can demolish other than some fishermen's huts, a small village, and capital village, and a warrior lodge. So we're just going to not do anything with that. There's also a landslide and a famine, but again, there's not many mechanisms I can do to do anything about that. So far we're good. So I also have a little story intro developed. So let me just get to that in my notes. Once upon a time, in the eastern floodplains of the land called Iberia, the Editani chieftains went to war. The High King and Queen were maligned by the craftsmen and traders of the tribe for allowing traders from the overseas empire of Carthage to come in and undercut them. Furious at their losses, an uprising began against the royal family, who were called traitors to the Iberian peoples, and the king and queen were executed. However, the troubles had only just begun. The conspirators could not decide who should lead the tribe now, and they began to fight amongst themselves. Before long, the head of the conspirators was killed by his own former allies. The son of the now deceased conspirator leader, Gorotigi, he's this guy right here, was more well-liked than his father, and had the Council of Chieftains' ears. He had an idea. Choose as the new king the son of the previous one. Saldico was a talented farmer and sculptor, but more importantly, he was amiable and very willing to listen to reason, almost to the extent of passiveness. Gorotigi insinuated that this man could easily be controlled, leaving no threat of tyranny. The council agreed, and Saldico was crowned king. However, Saldico knows very well right now that he is in debt to Gorotigi, and he has already given his sister, the beautiful Arcadin in marriage to him. The Editani people now have many enemies. Saldico's own wife, Akanos, is an escaped concubine of the king of the Sesatani tribe to the north, one of the Editani tribe's ancestral enemies. In addition, the most influential Lobatani chieftain, Nate Geru, and his wife Sigonin, and her sister, the war maiden Adabel Tordin, and bear a grudge against the Carpetani tribe to the west for killing their parents in a raid. But worst of all is the threat from Carthage, who have declared their intent to punish the Editani for rejecting their merchants. It seems that even the gods themselves are turning against the tribe, as this year it experiences hot and dry weather, landslides, and local famines. But Saldico, as passive as he is to his allies, is not one to give up against his enemies. The time to strike is now. The Iberian people will be free and will be strong. Alright, let's go. We are currently recruiting an army. I need all the help I can get to fight against Carthage in the south. We have Adabel Torton. She is a war maiden, and she has the war dancer status. So she doesn't actually fight. She's just a mascot, kind of like Joan of Arc was. And we have Saldico. He has... Oh, he has zeal, and he has high zeal, and he has high, where does he actually get that high level of zeal from? Oh, I see, he gets it from his, from the War Maiden. So he has a large amount, he has zeal and authority. That's really nice. So, good commander, but as we can see, he is not very well liked by the common people. He has the disdain faction leader trait. So, that's annoying. Anyways, we currently have a alliance with the Aravachi tribe. The Aravachi are one of the Celtiberians, meaning Celtic peoples living in Spain. The Aravachi are one of the tribes that had a bit more eventful of a conflict with Rome, in which they revolted against the Romans, and I think it was Gaius Marius who defeated them, but the Romans surrounded the fort of Numantia, and they just refused to surrender. They started killing each other and committing suicide, and by the time the Romans finally took the city, there wasn't really a city left to conquer. They burned their own homes. So ultimately, the city was razed to the ground. And Spaniards, from what I know, people who actually children in Spain don't actually know much about the ancient Iberians. As far as they know, there's a passing... I'm getting this all from La Numancia, correct. I know this from a Britisher who grew up in Spain when he could do that before Brexit. He went to school there. So, as far as he was concerned, his school was concerned, ancient Iberian history wasn't important. His education in history basically started with the Visigothic kingdom, and then with a passing mention, and then really started with the Arab conquest of Spain. But it didn't go through like a cultural revolution like France did, where they started to say our historical identity starts with the ancients. Like the de Gaulle administration in France declared that France's history begins with Vercingetorix and the Gauls, but Spain never did that. The Franco administration never did that. Anyways, we have the Carpetani to the west, we have the Sesatani to the north. They don't like us very much. And we also have the Cantabri. The Cantabri are a notable Iberian culture because a very famous like cavalry formation originated with them called the Cantabrian Circle, where cavalry armed with javelins would run in a circle, making them harder to hit, and while throwing javelins one by one, it made firing quicker, and it made firing quicker because it quickly gave everyone a clear shot, made them harder to hit. It was something that the Romans definitely learned from later, and even after the Roman Empire fell, you continue to see it from the Mongols. The Mongols did their famous horse archer circles. And yeah, here we have Carthage. Carthage declared war on me on the first turn, so this is going to be a rough campaign. But you know what? I'm nothing if not someone who enjoys a challenge. So let's go to the next turn. Oh yeah, and the previous Aravachi campaigns I attempted, the Irani, the Aravachi tend to wander around in my lands quite a bit. So when an army from an ally just wanders around in your lands, what they do is they buy supplies from me, which means that commerce increases, income increases, but at the same time the food shortage decreases. The Galachi looks like...
spoken, and they have named you as true friends. Do we dare ignore the other world?
It depends. They usually take Spain as a nation that starts with the Visigoths because of their Christian kings, closer to what Spain is now than the ancient Iberian tribes or the Romans. Well, one thing that the Visigoths did bring are several names. Like there are several Spanish names that are descended from the Visigoths, such as Rodrigo. It's descended from the German Roderick, from what I know. But yeah, Spain as a coherent unit rather than part of a larger empire definitely did begin with the Visigothic kingdom. Alright, so, this is the fall, last season of the year, so let's do another monthly event, or at least turn event. It's 96, so nothing happens, calm before the storm. So, let's get some slingers. Yeah, the Iberians definitely love their slingers. They didn't make heavy use of bows. See over here we have the Balearic Islands. The Balearic Islands in the ancient world were famous for one thing: their slingers. They had the Balearic slingers were something to be feared, to the point where there was a old story where children wouldn't get any food unless they could knock it off a shelf with their slings. They wouldn't get any bread. Obviously, that's probably exaggerating, but yeah, they were something to be feared. Even after they became part of the Roman Empire, they were hired as mercenaries. And before that, they were hired as mercenaries, I believe, by the Carthaginians. Yeah, that's one thing that one big role that Iberia played in Rome's history, in that they served as mercenaries for Hannibal, because Hannibal conquered Spain and took a lot of them as mercenaries and crossed the Alps with them, along with his elephants. And eventually, after the Romans won the Second Punic War, they gained control of Spain. It's like that meme where they say, "We're free!" Oh, I wouldn't say free. I would say under new management. But yeah, it definitely wasn't easy. The Romans took a long time to pacify the region, and all the way into the first century AD, the Spain and Iberia retained somewhat of its own cultural identity, and they continued to serve as auxiliaries rather than actual legionaries. So yeah. Ultimately, I think. A lot of what happened, a lot of the cultural identities of the people in the conquered by the Romans really ended when it really ended with what is it? No, when the Romans just at one point just declared everyone within the Roman Empire's borders are now Roman citizens. That was originally like a point of privilege only for people of the city of Rome itself, or like friends of the empire like Plutarch. But eventually, citizen was just it was anyone within the empire's borders, and it didn't mean much because by the time of Emperor Constantine, I think 60% of Roman citizens were serfs. So, yeah, things were pretty shit for them.
Honor the gods and your ancestors!
I am the fist of the goddess!
Yeah, citizenship back then meant something very different. Like, it's not like by the time all these people became citizens, it's not like they could vote. Any sense of democracy in Rome was out. It was very much an autocracy when, even in a kingdom, in an empire, when religion hadn't been only in Rome and Constantinople. If you were a serf in the countryside, you were pretty boned. Especially when the Huns started coming in. But yeah, anyways, we must send our we must watch jealous cowards. I forgot what that said. As our power grows, men envy us. We must send our scouts to watch jealous cowards. Anyways, it's the beginning of the year. Let's see what's happening this year. I got a 64, and that is another faction, marriage for another faction. Alright, let's get Arbim married. Arbim has the fortitude, cultured, and obsessive traits. Arbim is a Contestani chieftain, one of the small allied tribes to the Editani. His father was an alcoholic and died eating and drinking himself to death. He vows to work hard at his duties and not take after his father. Under him, the Contestani tribes have become rich with agricultural wealth, and he is encouraging the Iberian tribes to start to adopt Roman architectural techniques. So let's have him get married. Alright, so Tibas beer. First of all, the new traits for these people characters come out when they get married. So apparently, our Bim is a priest. He's quite religious. We don't exactly know what gods the old Iberians worshipped. Especially since, again, they were a pre-Indo-European culture. But I guess he worships some of them. And Tibas Spear, she is cultured. Good match for him. Borderline. And she is uncanny. Alright, so she is quirky, I guess. You could call her delusional or you call her chuny. Yeah, she's chuny, basically. Alright, so that's the event for this year. Fairly normal. And let's see what the event for this turn is, this season. I got a 91, so nothing's happening. Okay, and Ada Beltorton has leveled up. Let's make her a Paragon and a Champion. And now let's start recruiting some... we have a big warrior population, so let's get some of those. Skutari warriors are not actually that well armored, but just like all Iberian troops, they can Vanguard deploy. She's special, yes. They can Vanguard deploy, meaning they can just... If you fight against... If suddenly your opponent can just find out that your entire army is right in their face, about to pepper them with javelins, and that's hilarious, I think. So, let's get some of these bad boys.
Fight with us. It's a good life. Thirsty for battle.
This is the most I've talked in one of these streams in a while, but, you know, I don't know. I've gotten into the mood lately for reading historical texts. Google Scholar, by the way, if you want to learn more about this kind of stuff, Google Scholar is your friend. Wikipedia often doesn't actually tell the full story about a lot of these things. Yes, it is. I haven't actually figured out how to, create a transparent, create a transparent chat, so you guys will just have to bear with it. I will do that soon. Thanks to Marco, by the way, Grub, for, showing me how to crop chat to make sure that the borders don't appear. So, big ups to him. But yeah, Wikipedia doesn't always tell the full story. For instance, one perfect example of this is the aforementioned system of serfdom in, okay, Saldico has leveled up. Let's make him, he's very civil. He's a farmer. So he's definitely a good craftsman. Let's make him a bureaucrat and an adept tradesman. So yeah, lover, not a fighter. So yeah, as I was saying,
Are you ready to do your duty to the tribe?
So yeah, as I was saying, hold on, let's get more foot soldiers.
Fight for us, lads.
The Wikipedia article talks about the system of serfdom in Rome. The colonized Scripticae system was something that just came out of nowhere. Like, you had this Diocletian who was find out that the slaves that traditionally made the upper class of Rome rich and made sure that Rome got its tax money, where all the slaves were dead thanks to the crisis of the 3rd century. And the Wikipedia article just says, oh, he declared that tenant farmers were no longer allowed to leave the Roman estates.
Ready for battle.
But that only tells, like, part of the story. I actually looked further into this, into one of the sources that Wikipedia article states. And it talks about how a lot of these people, even before Diocletian and Constantine, were debt slaves to begin with. What happened is, so you know how nowadays, if you don't pay rent to your landlord will evict you, right? Well, back then, if you didn't pay your up rents or, like, double them, like they can even do today, like, I've heard horror stories about rents, like, doubling for the year. But eventually those protections went away, and either due to bad harvests, because and having them needing to take on debt to feed themselves, or
We need good fighters.
anyways, okay, I think I skipped the random events for the last turn, so let's do 2. Okay, so I got a 1 for the spring. Okay, let me just finish my tangent. So a lot of these people accumulated so many debts that eventually they had no way of actually paying it off, so they just stopped trying, and they became debt slaves. They weren't allowed to leave their landlord's land. And what Diocletian did was he basically formalized it. He recognized that a growing number of these of Roman citizens were these debtor slaves, so he formalized it in law, and Constantine spelled it out further, saying that if a Colonnade Scripticae, a serf, was... I think what really makes Wikipedia useful is the citation system. Yeah, exactly. That's why whenever I say something about history, when I say Wikipedia says it, because the source is behind a paywall, which is fucking annoying. But yeah, I just find it ironic that Constantine was converted to Christianity, which was supposed to be like a really benevolent philosophy by its time, a really progressive philosophy of its time. But when he says, when he found out that 60% of Roman citizens were debtor slaves, he said, "Go to hell. Rome needs its tax money." Anyways, monthly, I have a 25% chance to assassinate a character of any faction. They have an accident. Let's see if that happens. I'm rolling a d4 on a 1. We're in for a rough time. Okay, no. You're lucky I'm in a good mood. Somebody had an accident, but they survived it. Alright, for summer, I got a 32. So we are getting use dignitary for administration. A famous person appears. Okay, so a famous person appears, and that famous person is, let's see, is a chieftain. His name is Bisibilos. He is a chieftain, and he is a warhawk. He says, "Our ancestors demand blood. Would you disappoint them?" He's also very cheerful. He's cheerful in saying, "Oh boy, it's killing time." And he is an academic of war. So he's getting ready to raise some money for the war chest.
Ready for battle.
I probably should get that spy out, so let's see, let's give him...
What would you have of me?
His name is Ilbicon.
Mother to us all.
He is a courier, so he is a very, very sneaky. He is histrionical, he is melodramatic and flamboyant, though of course not when he is not sneaking around. And he is a scout, so he is going to tell us about what those pesky people from Israel are doing. No, I'm just kidding. The Carthaginians, they weren't black or even Middle Eastern, Libyan. The closest thing to, the closest culture, modern culture they would be to this day would be Jews, because they were from that area, or at least from Lebanon.
Ready for orders.
All right. I actually almost started crying when I found out that we were getting a Netflix series about Hannibal, and Denzel Washington was playing Hannibal. I'm crying right now. Why are you doing this to me? Okay, so Mustia or refresh my mind. Anyone who knows anything about Spain, there is a place in Spain called Cartagena, right? There's a place in Spain called Cartagena, Cartagena, and originally the in the ancient times that was called Carthago Nova or New Carthage.
What would you have of me? Heading out? Warriors!
Not to be mistaken, by the way, with Carthage, Texas. If anyone has anyone actually seen this movie called Bernie, with Jack Black in it, about the guy named. Okay, so Bernie, yeah, it's this movie called about this guy named Bernie who in Carthage, Texas, who kills this old woman, but he's liked so much by the locals that they have to move his trial outside, so that because they're afraid that the jury won't come to a conclusion or may even like acquit him. But yeah, that movie was funny. Like they were talking about how there are a map of like the 5 sections of Texas, and then it shows like Texas as this like enormous state covering like half of America, which is basically what Texans think Texans really think about their state. Yeah, I mean, Pippa recently posted her Pipkin Pippa recently posted her own on a map of America, which once again bashes California, and I found something interesting. Whenever Texans are asked about which state they hate the most, they always say California, and whenever Californians are asked, they don't give a consistent answer. It's like Texas is like, I think to California, I think about you every day, and California is like, I don't think about you at all.
Warriors all.
Yeah. So the army of so currently Carthage is still in its war. I haven't looked too deeply into this, but currently what is it? Rome is still in its war with Epirus in modern-day Croatia. So, is it Croatia? No, I think it's Bosnia. So, Epirus, and currently Carthage is on its side, but on Rome's side. But after Pyrrhus of Epirus is defeated, Carthage and Rome are going to start butting heads. Right now, though, I'd better not get on Rome's bad side. I mean, I probably already have, but I better not get on Rome's bad side even further until they actually start clashing.
Gold is mother to us all.
Anyways, let's look at Mastia, or Mastia's. Wait. They must see the antithesis of what their state is on Cali. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyways, all right. Let's see. I'm running out of I'm running out of funds. So.
I have drunk deep.
Oh yeah. First of all, let's do the Did we already do a random event for this turn? I don't think we did. There's another famine, but again, we don't. Our population, our borders are too small to notice. So let's keep going.
Get moving.
What time is it? Wait. It's penetration time. Yeah, Iberians love their javelins, as you will see. I think every single unit in this has at least 1-2 ranged ammunition, units of ranged ammunition, so this is going to be pretty fun.
To serve the people of Gaul.
Oh, here they come. And my guess is they are coming with elephants. Elephants are stupid strong in this game. So... yeah, elephants are super strong in this game, and, luckily, even an elephant can only survive so many javelins. So... New Year, middle of the winter, but luckily this is Iberia, and winters are fairly, the Mediterranean winters are fairly, mild. Oh yeah, speaking of Texas, isn't Texas currently going through this, like, massive heat wave right now? Yeah, Californians like me ultimately often like get made fun of for our inability to handle harsh weather, and as a Californian, as I can say, you're absolutely right. I have zero tolerance for cold, and I'm not sure if you can hear it, but right now it's like 85 degrees and I have a fan on. I'm a wuss when it comes to weather. Elephants are stupid strong IRL. No, not necessarily, because they're very difficult to control. Like, there are several people who have managed to get them to panic by blowing trumpets at them, or even doing stupid stuff like sending flaming camels or pigs running at them to scare them and make them stampede. But
Ready for battle.
oh, there it is. Pilim, African elephants. So...
How can I help? Sabotage. I like that word.
I believe it's one of the famous battles that Rome took part in, the Battle of Asculum, early Rome, with Pyrrhus. So, what the Romans actually did against Pyrrhus's elephants were creating these things called anti-elephant wagons, where they would create this long row of wagons. They would create this long row of wagons with long blades poking out of it to kill the charging elephants. Oh, I meant just in the wild. Seeing one in battle must have been scary. Like, yeah, you're right. I saw an interesting comment about the Hannibal's crossing of the Alps. Imagine telling someone what an elephant is someone who's never seen an elephant before, describing it to them, and then saying, you're going to face one in battle. Like, seriously, like, imagine if I walked up to you saying, hey, we're going to war with China, I'm conscripting you, and China is going to bring out enormous tarantulas that are near indestructible, are impervious to bullet fire. Like, I know that's a bad example, but, yeah.
Gaul is mother to us all, laying siege to their hovels.
So yeah, I'm going to besiege them because climbing walls is an enormous pain in the ass, especially with lightly armored troops like mine. Anyways, it's also the first year, New Year, so let's roll for random events. It is 79, which is increase taxes to maximum. It's time for some good old-fashioned tyranny. This year, it's for the good of all. We need money so that we can build elephant wagons.
Yeah!
No, we need money to build more javelins.
I live to serve the people of Gaul.
And monthly events. So, raid major neighbor. Alright, I guess we're doing that. So, who are we raiding today? Ooh, Sesatani. Those are like our ancestral enemies, so let's get some boys and let's go and fuck them up. Or without notice, seeing an elephant for the first time, like that German soldier from World War I who ran away when he saw a tank come into the trench and called it a metal crocodile. Yeah, I can see that. Tanks must have just scared the absolute shit out of people out of the Germans when they first appeared. Haven't you guys seen this movie called Warhorse? That's my favorite movie ever, and one of my favorite books ever. It is about a horse, English cavalry horse in the last days of cavalry warfare in World War I. And one of the most heartbreaking moments in the movie is when when Joey the horse first encounters a tank for the first time, and he is terrified because all his friends, everyone he's known, has left him, and he's alone with this tank. It's so sad. Warhorse is an amazing movie. I know. Get it on. They have a bunch of Libyan troops, those elephants, a bunch of Libyan spearmen. Yeah, the Carthaginians, the actual Punics, the Punic warriors rarely ever came out to fight. Whenever they went out to fight, it was almost always entirely Libyans. The Libyan natives, the Semitic people actually rarely ever came out to fight. Though I am kind of wondering, in World War whether or not in World War I people actually did like saber cavalry charges like that, because I know that by the time of the Civil War, a cavalry charge didn't actually mean running towards each other and fighting with your sword. It meant what Civil War cavalry would do is they would run up to each other and shoot each other with pistols, because at that point they had repeating pistols. Although I do know that there were some successful lance charges in World War I, as well as that one famous scene, battle in the desert. Those Australian mounted infantry attacked with on their horses with bayonets. Anyways, so like I said, like dragoons, yeah. So like I said, the nice thing about Iberians is that you can all just jump up in front of the enemy and just shower them with javelins. So do I want to actually do this though? I think I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread out my units into squads.
Spearmen ready for battle. Battle ready and eager. Our spears are yours.
And
Ready. Slingers.
I know Luigi Cadorna did a bunch of cavalry charges in World War I. I'm going to look that up right now. Luigi Cadorna. Italian General Marshal. Let me just Control F cavalry. Can't find it. Maybe another time. Anyways, what else have I got?
Spearmen ready for battle.
We will pierce their hearts.
But yeah,
We'll kill them all. Guide our shots.
the Iberians are not a phalanx army. They don't really hold up well in head-on fights. But it's the most common strategy is like kiting.
Our hidden units have been discovered.
Fierce! Our spears are yours. Stand aside, the Carthaginians. They love their animals. Ready for battle.
Enemy reinforcements approaching.
Fierce! Fierce! To stand ready! Ready! Skirmishers!
Okay.
Missile
So far, so good.
hunger for blood and battle! Warriors eager for blood!
The men are wavering.
Battle ready!
Time to.
Ready! We'll kill them all!
So I know this is a stream. This is a actual stream. It's not
One of our
a.
units has used all its ammunition.
I keep on, man. This stream is no good for me. I keep on checking for books about ancient Hispania now. Oh, that's great. That's great. I'm so glad. That's what we're all about. We're all about making learning fun. That's what I am, an edutuber. I believe that's what another person called me.
Take aim! Understood. Warriors, move out!
Those cavalry are so fucking annoying.
Warriors eager for blood!
All right, so my Editani troops can indeed do the
One of our
Gabriel
units has used all
circle,
its
so I'll just
ammunition.
try to get into position for that.
And eager! Fierce! Ready! Spearmen! Ready! Fighters!
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Skirmishers! I kill! Orders! Bakumile!
Oh boy, this is getting annoying.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Cast you! Missile riders! Riders!
All right, let's get the circle started. So,
We hunger for blood!
so like I said, this is a stream. It is not just
Eager for blood!
me playing around as much as I'd like it to be. But so I am going to try and show you some of the close-ups of Total War. But yeah. Imagine being in one of these. Seriously.
Tribesmen! Mounted missile warriors! LA warriors!
Okay, the elephants are down. That's good. But unfortunately, I have run out of javelins, so I'm in a bit of trouble there.
Warriors ready! Spearmen! Slingers!
You know, in theory, one really dumb thing I could do is actually try to just withdraw all my troops and then get the hopes so I can get more javelins.
Orders!
Okay, so far so good.
Live to fight another day! Aim is true! Roar! Make them bleed! We hunger for blood and battle! Noble fighters! Ready for battle! On battle ready!
See if we can
One
get
of our units has
a...
used all its ammunition.
Slingers!
Yeah, when you... Oh, yeah, when you run out of javelins, well, you need to get more, I guess. what can I say? I mean, that's one thing that people across history would commonly do. They would just, when they ran out of stuff, like when they ran out of breakaway lances, or they ran out of arrows, they would just get more. They would run away, they would leave, and then they would grab more, and then they would grab more. The winged hussars would, once their spears broke, they would run back out, and then they would grab more lances. Same thing with the Persians at the famous Battle of Carrhae. At the famous Battle of Carrhae, they would actually Surena, the famous the famous Parthian general who defeated Crassus and the other Romans, would actually had entire wagons of arrows so that he could just keep on harassing the Romans.
Missile warriors! Spearmen ready for battle! Gotcha! Slingers! Our spears are yours! Skirmishers!
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Advance at speed! Spearmen! Hack them down! Spears! You have our spears! Move out! Get running! Warriors! Eager for blood! Spears! Ready for battle!
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Okay, my Scutari have rallied. That wasn't a rout. That was a fallback in good order.
Kill them all! Missile warriors! Forward!
Phalanxes. Fuck phalanxes. All my homies hate phalanxes. Unless they're my phalanxes.
Spearmen! Ready for battle! Cut them! Battle ready! Noble fighters!
Alright, let me show you how the Iberian cavalry do it.
Advance at speed!
Let's go.
Charge! Our spears are yours! We hunger for blood and battle! Noble fighters! Hack them down! Iberian cavalry! As you say! Warriors! Eager for blood!
Okay, we're slowly... The battle's turning in our favor. I think we can do this.
They killed
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
You have our spears? We'll kill them all! Iberian cavalry!
Alright, check this out. Not as fantastic or like spectacular as charges in Warhammer 3, but you know, I'd say still pretty fun. Ah, fuck, they didn't break.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
But yeah, Iberians are the absolute kings of clutch victories. Like the reason I like them so much is because they can actually
Guide our shots! Understood!
is because they can actually pull victories from the jaws of defeat because of just because of how good their like charge bonuses and their like javelin units are. With the Greeks, the Greek system is really inflexible. If they crash against your shield wall and they start to outlast you, you're fucked.
Warriors, ready! Move it! We'll kill them all! Tribesmen! Roar! Our aim is true! Riders, advance! Spears! Ready! Anjo!
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Our spears are yours!
Oh man, of my noble warriors, of my general's bodyguard, only one has died so far, and they've killed 140. This is glorious.
Spears! We hunger for blood and battle! Spears!
Yeah, I'm glad this is working out so well, because one thing about this game is that RNG is a bitch. Sometimes factions that you thought were friendly with you will just arbitrarily declare war on you, and
Warriors!
at that point, and then when Rome declares war on you, that's when things start going into overdrive.
Hack them down!
Because Rome gets stronger as the game goes on, and by the time they get to the Marian reforms, meaning the meaning the part where the maniple is replaced by the cohort,
Men flee the field of battle.
you get the absolute murder machines that are legionaries. Well, things should be about time to wrap things up. Just going to.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
Holy shit, this militia unit has balls of steel. Alright, we're good. Let's run these idiots down, and... La Numancia 2. No, La Numancia 2 is where we carry out a heroic last stand. A heroic last stand, and just I believe, what's his name, Miguel de Cervantes, the great writer of Don Quixote, actually wrote an opera called The Siege of Numantia. Not sure if it's translated or not, but if it was, that would be cool. Damn, that's almost half of my troops. But it is mostly peasant, so who are easily replaceable. I know I say this a lot, but battles were rarely ever that bloody on both sides. Typically, if one side was even slightly losing, they would fall back. But yeah, that's not how it is. El asedio de la Numancia, or El cerco de la Numancia, or just La Numancia. Unfortunately, learning Spanish is not something I've planned to take up in the future. I am currently in the process of learning French. May laugh at me all you want. So, you lads are coming with me. German, I don't know. The thing is, I can laugh all you want about the French, but French is just, I've been fascinated with the French culture for a while. Like, it's dainty, and they're passionate, but they're not assholes about it. Like, the Japanese are passionate, but they're also super stuck up about Ich lerne Deutsch. Like, the Japanese are super, like, I don't know, nitpicky about things. Like, if you don't do things in a very certain way, you're doing it all wrong. But like, the French are passionate, but they're not like jackasses about it. And I like the French's armor. Yeah, Le Gendarme. The French had some of the I mean, say what you want about the French's performance in World War II, but the French have won more battles than any other culture in history, and ever since the 10th century, the Kingdom of France's territory has actually doubled. All right. Strength and valor and unity. They have an incredible 19th century in literature. Yeah, Les Miserables. I never figured out how to actually pronounce that. Is it Les Miserables or is it Les Miserables? Like, the French pronunciation is like something that takes a lot of practice. It's not like Japanese pronunciation where you can just like learn a few functions and you're good.
Tyrannus, strike them down.
Okay, first of all, let's go to our random events. Three, once again, 25% chance of assassinating someone, making them have an accident. Oh, we're doing it! Unfortunately, we do not have anyone that can actually carry out assassinations. This is kind of awkward, so we are going to have to hire someone that can. That's for later though, because this whole game by Victor Hugo, yes. Victor Hugo. It's Hugo.
Attack!
Anyways, you're lucky I'm in a good mood. Otherwise, one of you is things are getting very rough. Rough and tumble. Anyways,
Scour before us.
you, sir, are getting... Should I loot?
Yeah! Rah!
Warriors old.
All right, we are in the money. Okay, yeah, I'd like to build a sanitation building in this region, so...
Ready for orders.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot, we were going to start raiding.
Epona, watch over this traveler. What you can't steal, burn! Warriors old. Ready for battle.
And
I am the knife in the...
I'm going to send this guy overseas in order to make sure I can keep an eye on them.
I have things to...
And...
Well met. What do you wish?
Alright, next turn. Oh, silly me, I almost forgot about raiding. Yeah, on the, what is it, on the Rome 2 Divided Empire Discord, there is a meme, it's called, It's Pillaging Time. Yeah, it's one of the emotes in the Discord. Alright, so let's roll for the next event. Okay, nothing is happening this time. Now that Rome is no longer at war with southern Italy, the uneasy peace between Carthage and Rome has become frayed. Should Rome seek to assert her influence into Sicily, Carthage will take that as a sign of war. Yeah. The Mediterranean is about to get hot. Votive offering. Druids, astrologers, and soothsayers performed many societal functions within the barbarian cultures of the ancient world. They were arbitrators of dispute, keepers of lore, natural philosophers, and performers of ritual. Within the close-knit warp and weft of tribal life, they also acted as the chieftain's primary means of communicating with the gods. By oral tradition, the secrets, mysteries, and practices of appealing to and appeasing the gods were passed from one generation to the next.
Thirsty for battle.
let's see.
Move out!
Okay, mercenary veteran. An adventurer from Carthage has come to cause a bit of trouble.
Honor the gods and your
Um,
ancestors.
Let's see if I can get rid of this loser.
The ravens will feast.
Okay, my Atalbal Tortin and proceeded to proceeded to at least wound the mercenary veteran. And in a duel of wits, she was able to pierce his arm with a with a poisoned arrow. Nevertheless, he was able to recover. All right. Still maximum taxes, so
Thirsty for battle. When your feet bleed, you can moan. Ready for orders. Getting on our way. On the move, lads.
Lysabelos has ranked up. He's a Warhawk, so let's make him a military overseer. And next turn, I'm going to have to replenish my armies before I go and attack the Beliaris. Apparently, the Baleares currently is a hot destination for like partiers. Like it's a party and like beach destination in Europe. There are a lot of those, come to think of it. You know, Europeans, they don't have the highest incomes in the world. In the world, I mean, they're definitely by like most economic metrics, they're poorer than Americans, but somehow they still manage to actually go overseas and travel. Like I do wonder, how do they actually do that? Like, I don't plan on traveling at all in the near future because you know, I'm planning to actually there are a few things I'd still like to do. I'd still like to save up for. I'd like to actually fill up my Roth IRA, but more importantly, I also want to get a more professionally done model.
I live to serve the people of Gaul.
And wouldn't mind also getting a second, second monitor, so I don't have to keep on relying on my laptop to read chat. Let's build a sewage ditch. Even the wildest man knows not to defecate where he eats. Household expands. Household expands. Oh, there it is. Epiros has been destroyed. Alright, it's fall. One more event per year, then I can finally get taxes back to normal. Oh, just move troops. Alright, I guess we'll do that. Maneuvers. Where should we go? You know, let's go. Let's go home. Let's have the troops see their families for like 3 months out of the many years of their military service. Yeah. Remember I was talking about how armor is uncomfortable. Your model looks cool, dude. I would totally shoot it if I saw it at night or something, but still pretty cool. I appreciate that. So the troops, our troops of Iberia are. They don't have the kind of conditioning that Roman legionaries had, because they are like most cultures across the Mediterranean, they are aren't a standing army. They are citizen soldiers, meaning who just farm most of the time and occasionally get up and go to war.
Yes. Who wants to see an outlander's head?
Honor the gods and your ancestors.
And ultimately, when we ultimately did get the Roman system of a standing army, meaning a standing professional army, it was superior for a while, but in the long run, it was somewhat it wasn't efficient politically. I mean, you might hear this spiel a lot from a lot of historians, but if troops are motivated by pay and by loot rather than loyalty to their country, then that means that that means that they don't have a duty to protect as much as a duty to themselves, to their own personal profiteer. And that is ultimately what would later happen in Rome, when they would just at one point, if they grew tired of the way they were being treated, they would declare their general as the new emperor and go march in Rome. Yeah, there wasn't really a formal system of succession in Rome. One of the most popular ways for someone to become emperor is just by killing the old one. But yeah, you probably hear this a lot if you listen to historians who talk about this stuff. Okay, it's the winter, New Year, and all right, our own faction is getting married, so we don't actually have anyone in our own faction. It's mostly, like I said, Saldago is kind of a pushover, but so we're just gonna keep on hiring, giving favors to the other chieftains, put more of their own chieftains on the council, and so. Until we can finally find someone to recruit and declare as our heir.
Honor the gods and your ancestors.
Organize games. Yeah, let's do that. Let's celebrate our at least small victory over the Carthaginians. So, and monthly event is going to be, we are going to send a diplomat to who I have not decided. Let's send him to, let's go visit the, Aravaci, our allies.
You looking at me?
Ready for
battle. This would also be a good time to use our ill-gotten gains to maybe get some more troops. I need more spearmen, probably, to guard my ranged troops.
We need good fighters.
So...
I live to serve the people of God.
I live to serve the people of God. Sabotage. I like that word. Not quite what I intended.
Alright, somebody is coming by sea. Let's see who it is. Alright, let's roll for next random event.
Return to your people and prepare them for death. That is now your only duty.
Seems fair. These are the Masaili. They are otherwise known as Numidians. These guys are the modern descendants of them are the Berbers, the native people, the native non-Arab people of North Africa. But well, or at least I think they're not Arab. They're native to North Africa, but yeah, just like us, they love their javelins. And they also make use of a lot of camels. They make use of camels and occasionally elephants. Alright, alright, she had an accident there. She got food poisoning. Lame. Alright, can I finally hire someone? Eventually I will be able to hire a, eventually.
Thirsty for battle.
Alright, now I can actually finally get some swordsmen. So the swordsmen make very heavy use of the scutum. No, the Dunamanica do. Do as well as the scutari. So the scutum, as you guys might know, is the signature shield of the Roman legionary. They initially got it from the barbarians, the Gauls and the Celts. It's basically a long oval shield that can be used for a shield wall. Locking shields together and thrusting out of it with swords instead of the usual round shield phalanx.
What do you want?
Oh, that's right, after lower taxes. Shame. So Abu Zayed Abu Rahman. Why do Arabs have such long names? Like, haven't they learned anything from Jugemu?
Ready for orders. I live to serve the people of Gaul. Come, fight for us, lads.
Because titles. Oh yeah, I forgot to look at who these people are. Okay, I think I skipped the random event last time. So... did I? Oh yeah, I did skip it. I rolled a 45. Apparently 45 is raid self. Basically, I have to raid my own lands. It's basically injustice. That should be fun. Anyways, let's roll for this one. Own faction, marriage, which of course I cannot do until I get more people in my faction. Annoying.
As clouds gather, wise men look for friends to shelter them.
Seems fair. Okay, so there we go. Here's finally someone who can watch goose. Can get some more cunning that way. So alright, we are going to wreak havoc among the villagers of this land.
Ready for battle. We will hear the lamentations
Oh my god.
of women.
Basically I'm saying, basically I'm violating the Third Amendment. The Third Amendment of the US is the one that, Total War looks so fun. It really is. Remind me again, the third, it takes some time to get into, though, especially the historical ones. The historical ones definitely take some time to get into, but you can have so much fun with them, if you know what you're doing.
Honor the gods and your ancestors.
Thirsty for battle.
Okay, who are... Oh. Alright, so it's just some transports, not sure what they're doing. Small amount of troops, maybe a scouting force. But yeah, remind me again, the Third Amendment of the United States is the amendment that says, people aren't required to quarter troops, right? Wait, are the Aravachi and the Lusitani going to fight in my borders? Bro, get a room. Okay, so what's on our list? Once we get that, okay, it's the fall, and we are still... We still need to find... first of all, I rolled a 5, so I'm currently owed 2 marriages and 2 assassinations, so... Or at least I should be able to... Next year is basically going to be... I'm going to wreak havoc within my own ranks.
And your ancestors.
For the selected few tism ones... For us, the few selected tism ones. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
For those who are lucky enough to have history as our special interest, instead of ponies.
I shall keep the head.
Ah.
Fear not.
That's
I
annoying.
won't let the
I
clan down.
live to serve the people of Gaul. When your feet bleed, you can moan.
Iberiautism. You know what? I am actually going to, next turn, I am actually going to go and see if I can, see if I can capture the Beliaris.
Honor the gods.
I love Crusader Kings do. Yeah, I said in my debut, I haven't actually, there are a few more things I want to do with Total War before I, before I start learning how to play other big rabbit hole games like Age of Empires and Paradox games. All right, next year. Oh, looks like we're going to war again. Who are we going to go fuck up? And what are we doing on our first season? We are going to war and we are raising taxes to a maximum. Okay, the Lusitani are currently ravaging my countryside, and only I get to do that?
You
Oh,
are
perfect. Now I can
honorable,
get them to
worthy,
join
and
me.
strong.
Okay. Trespasser.
Ready for battle.
Alright, first of all, let's... Alright, he is going to give a gift to the Contestani chieftain and marry one of them, one of their ranks. So, Ankonanin, an Eridani chieftain, he is faithful to his wife, he is unjust, so he should be the one doing the raiding from now on. He is disciplined, and he is austere. Basically, he's disciplined and austere, basically really stuck up. And at the age of 17, too. Sounds like a swell guy. And his wife, Salar, okay, this is the opposite. Drunken, alright. She is an aristocrat. She is cheerful, and she is drunken. So she is a hopeless drunk, and quite a party animal. All right. I'll have to go back and I'll have to go into detail in that. Either ways, anyways, let's go fuck these losers up.
To battle!
The storm is...
Attack! Ready for battle!
All right, I'm bringing around I'm bringing along twice as many troops as them. This should be fun. Right. I'm probably going to end the stream after this battle because I still haven't eaten anything, and also I need to I have some more work to do. Again, Sigma grind set.
Spears! Orders! Iberian sword! Warriors ready! Spears ready!
And all that.
Spears! And our spears!
Okay, so get our slingers in position.
Spears! You have our spears! Skirmishers!
Yeah, imagine having to work for a living instead of being a full-time streamer. To be honest, I do like my job. I mean, it's tough, definitely, and often frustrating, but it makes me proud, I guess. And I'm a very prideful person. Besides, more importantly, I need to do more research. I'm going to talk a bit more about see if I can find some more juicy stuff about the Celt Iberian specifically, and also maybe Carthage.
We have discovered the enemy's hidden units.
Ready! Ready for battle! Are nearly as long as ours. Praise the gods, our weapons are bigger now. And our swords. Much work to do today to
Our reinforcements have arrived.
move it. We hunger for blood and battle.
And you know, I really shouldn't be bringing up Gamergate related stuff, but I remember one guy saying that,
Spears!
oh, you brought all this, things are all the way this way. Gaming has become mainstream and all that, and appealing to a bigger crowd
One of our
because
units has used all its ammunition.
it's mainstream. If things went back to the way they used to be, all gamers would all be called like nerds, and
Our spears are yours.
gamers would be called nerds and would be treated as social outcasts and be misaligned and being told to touch grass and all that, and like I guess I see the point. Gaming is a big source of revenue right now for gamers. I wouldn't say it's being an
Ready for battle!
gamers. I mean, can you imagine and going back in time to like the 1990s and say people are actually going to make money eventually playing games?
Ready for battle!
Right now it's not unheard of. I mean, apparently in Ireland there's this one university where with courses in how to be an influencer. Makes sense, because you know, influencers generally as their side, even influencers who make a little money as their side hustle work at McDonald's.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Though I don't know where I'm going with this. Okay.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Dabrian circle.
We hunger for blood and battle! We will pierce their hearts! Tribesman! Warriors ready! They will bleed for us!
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Ready and eager! Running! Spears! Kill! Warriors! Warriors ready!
All right.
Battle ready!
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Eager for blood! Hunger for blood and battle!
Well, this is one hell of a melee. God damn. In all seriousness, in a big disorganized melee like this, it would be pretty difficult to one of the big disadvantages of something like that is that it would be pretty difficult to determine friend or foe, because, you know, it's not like these people get, like, issued uniforms.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
So usually by the time formations were starting to get breached, there wasn't really the time for fighting was done. It was better to just fall back.
Iberia! Deadly missiles ready! Take aim! Spears! You have our spears! Right, man! Our spears are yours! Make the charge!
Alright. Get enveloped, bitch. Envelope. Envelope.
Prepare to attack! Missile-armed warriors! Spears! Iberian swords! Deadly missiles ready! Our aim is true! Warriors, move out!
Yeah, this is the point. With this number of troops, this is the point when
Our men flee the
the
field
game
of
starts to
battle.
lag, and it's
This
glorious.
is a shameful display.
When the game starts to lag, that's when you know the game is getting fun. Actually, do I even need to? No, I probably don't. At this point, they'll probably just explode since they've already fled. If an army flees and then you chase them down again, that's the point where they just explode in Total War games. What an artist dies with me, Nero, as he stabbed himself. I like his mother's last words better. Smite my womb. It's like my womb gave birth to that piece of shit. Stab me here. Vegetius, what does Dere Militari say about his tactical prowess? It's alright, I guess.
On the move, lads! Is there nothing else? To travel is to be truly free.
Alright, got a little extra money from that and some slaves. Slave population is slowly increasing. And let's see if I can finagle out a military alliance with the Arabashi. I most certainly can.
Have good wine until we...
Perfect. Actually, you know what?
This agreement is
Let's even go further than that. Let's see if I can get them to confederate with me.
welcome, worthy friend.
Holy shit, they did it!
I will take...
Alright, they have confederated with me. My empire is growing. What about the Turdetani? Can I confederate with them?
Greetings, friend. I've called for good...
Let's do this.
Welcome, Worth. I will take.
All right. The Editon, the Ars, what was this? The Editani Empire or the Arce Empire? Arce. Anyways, this is actually a good place to end. So, wait, actually, you know, let's go even further.
Honor us.
No.
There's food.
How about you? Not yet. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream here. It has been quite fun. This is the most I've actually talked, I've yapped in a long time. Maybe if I get enough more followers and enough more historical knowledge, I can do a Zatsu. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. So thanks for coming and expect more to come.